Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about a shot that I know a lot of people struggle with, and for good reason as well, and that is playing shots tight from the cushion. So we're going to look at where exactly we need to be striking the cue ball when playing shots from the cushion. We're going to look at a little alignment drill that you can check and see for yourself exactly where you're aiming on the cue ball. And also the last thing, we're going to have a little technique assessment, and I'm just going to give you a couple of tips and I think the best way to hold your cue when we're going to be playing off the cushion. So the first thing we're going to look at, if we have this shot, so obviously we can get our hand on the table, we've got a slight left cut to the middle, so I would play this with a trace of right. So the cue ball won't really push off anywhere. Trace of right, centre of the cue ball, and we pot the red. So that's fairly straightforward. If we were now going to play exactly the same shot, but aiming right at the top of the cue ball, so aiming exactly the same, right at the top of the cue ball, with a trace of right hand side. So same as before, we're just right at the top of the cue ball now. We play the shot, and the cue ball pulls slightly to the right, and then the trace of side will make it miss to this left jaw. And that's all because we're hitting high on the cue ball. So it's a bit different when we're hitting low on the cue ball, because the cue ball doesn't push to the right as it does when we hit high on the cue ball. So if we start trying to play shots off the cushion, because now when it's on the cushion we can only aim high on the cue ball, we now don't have that luxury of aiming a little bit lower to avoid the cue ball pulling offline. So if we were going to play this shot, now a dead straight shot, we're aiming to hit centre of the cue ball, to hit centre of the object ball, and obviously pot it in the pocket. So I feel my aiming's good there. Centre of the cue ball, perfect. And we would have potted the white, so that would have been exactly on line. If we've now got this shot where we play with a trace of right instead of hitting the centre, we now know that the cue ball is going to pull slightly to the right, and we're going to miss it to this pocket here. So exactly the same with an angle shot. So now the cue ball is on the cushion, don't be tempted to try and play with that little trace of side that we normally would when we can get our hand on the table, because this is going to make this shot 10 times harder. The shot is already hard enough anyway, so let's not try and overcomplicate things and try and play shots with side, because you're just going to end up missing more shots than you want. So again, best way to play it, so we've got that slight left angle, so aiming centre of the cue ball, picking your point on the object ball. So I feel that's about good. Play the shot, and we pot the red directly in the pocket. So I've just set up the practice drill now. Now, if you don't already have one, I would certainly look at investing into getting a spotted cue ball. So they're not expensive, maybe £15 online, I'm not sure, but a great investment. They're going to show exactly where you're aiming and striking on the cue ball. So if you play with any unwanted spin, obviously you'll see the ball turn as it hits the cushion perhaps. So definitely worth the investment, not expensive, but a great training aid. So the drill itself, what we're trying to do is obviously strike centre of the cue ball to hit the same point on the opposite cushion, so on the bolt line on the cushion, and send the cue ball back to its original position. So when you do this drill, just have a look at the other cushion and see exactly where the cue ball hits. So if it hits either slightly to the right or the left, and it comes off in a normal fashion like that, then you know you've probably just aimed it in that area. If the cue ball hits the cushion and you see a slight turn on the white, so the back white will slightly spin that way, then you probably know that you've put a little bit of unwanted side spin on and you've not struck the centre of the cue ball. So let's have a go at the drill. So centre of the cue ball to hit centre of the other cushion and then back to its original position. So I'm going to get myself lined up. I feel that's pretty good. Down the bolt line, back. I'm pretty happy with that. So now we'll try with a trace, a right hand side. So same again, aiming the same spot on the cushion on the other side, but playing with a trace of right. And the cue ball just comes slightly to the right of the bolt line. So that's the little trace of side. So that was only a trace of side, but obviously over a longer distance, this cue ball is going to be pulled even more offline. So we're going to have to be even more accurate with our longer shots. So exactly the same on the other side. So trace of left, aim in the same position, trace of left, hits the cushion and just comes slightly to the left. So it's so important to hit the centre of the cue ball. So obviously what we're aiming to do is we're going to try and do 10 in a row. If you can do 10 consistently, hitting exactly this point on the way back, then you know that you're going to be striking pretty much in the centre of the cue ball. So this is quite a funny shot because a lot of people might be convinced that they're striking centre of the cue ball, which when you've got your hand on the table, I feel your tip is a little bit further away than your eyes in your head. Okay, so when the cue ball is now on the cushion in this position, we have to put our hand a lot closer to the cue ball, and you'll find that your eyes and now your head are so much more closer to the cue ball, and people's visuals can be slightly impaired when you come slightly closer to the cue ball. So even though you think you're striking the cue ball on a normal shot when you've got your hand on the table, it might be slightly different as you look a little bit closer towards the cue ball. So keep tabs on that. That's why this drill is important, just to make sure that you're aiming exactly and striking exactly where you think you are. So give that a go. Let's aim for 10 in a row, and then you'll be a lot more consistent in striking the cue ball. So when it actually comes to playing the shot off the cushion, I feel the backhand position is what's going to be super important. So normally, obviously, if we played a normal shot, our hand is on the table, we would hold our cue in the normal position with a slightly longer bridge, because we can get our hand on the table and everything's as normal. But now the cue ball is closer to the cushion, obviously we have to place our hand on the cushion. So this is now going to be a lot closer than if our hand is on the table. So what we're still trying to achieve with our back arm, we're still trying to achieve that vertical position with the forearm. Okay, so when we play this shot, instead of holding that same position where you normally would, we're now going to have to come up the cue slightly just to maintain this vertical position. So our hand will be closer. So I know my hand is now come up the cue and I feel I'm in a vertical position. So I'm not too far back with the hand and creating this angle. I'm not too far forward. I just want to be at that vertical address position, and now I know I'm in a perfect place to make this shot. I don't feel too bunched up, I don't feel too far back. I feel this is the optimum position when we're playing this shot. So when we're playing off the cushion, try and maintain that vertical forearm at the back, so arm straight down, and you'll find that this shot becomes a little bit easier. So there we go folks, I hope that all made sense. If there's any questions, then obviously do please leave them in the comments below, and I will get back to you and give you the best possible answer I can. But obviously the few points that we've been through, obviously when we are playing off the cushion, we have to try and aim centre of the cue ball. Obviously you can play shots with side off the cushion, it just makes the shot so much harder. And as I mentioned, obviously you know yourselves, this shot is hard enough as it is, so let's not try and overcomplicate it and playing with side spin. Just trying it centre of the cue ball, and hopefully that will make the shot a little bit easier. Obviously we've got the alignment drill as well. You can do it along the bolt line, and just keep your tabs on whether you're striking where you think you're striking. Obviously we don't want to be hitting right or left of centre, so repetition on that drill. Try and aim for 10 in a row of getting it one end of the D line and back again, and keep repeating that. And the more you do it, obviously the more naturally centre ball striking will look to you when your hand is that slightly a little bit closer to the cue ball when we're playing off the cushion. So I hope that all made sense. Like I say, any questions then do leave them below, but obviously in the meantime I hope you enjoyed the video. Obviously if you enjoyed the content, please like, share and subscribe, and that makes a huge difference to the channel. So thanks for watching again guys, and if anyone would like coaching, obviously online or in this very room with me, then do get in touch and we can arrange something. So I hope you enjoyed that one, and we'll see you soon.